friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. It is time today for a shelf spotlight. Shelf spotlights are videos that I film every month or almost every month where I highlight a different type of book or category of book that are on my shelves, whether they're read or unread, a little bit of both, something along those lines. And so today, as promised, I am going to be sharing with you my Newbery shelf. It has been a goal of mine for the last few years to collect all of the Newbery winners. The John Newbery Medal is an award given to a children's book of distinguished content. It is chosen by librarians, I believe, and awarded every year since 1922. And I thought it would be a fun thing to start collecting them a few years ago. And I have officially completed that collection as of this past fall. And I have yet to share with you all the books that are on my Newbery shelf. My Newbery shelf is normally up there at the top of my bookshelves, but I have them all taken off so that I can share them with you. I'm not going to do one of those normal library tours where I just put a book on a shelf and show you them one by one. I am going to show you them one by one, but I have them all here in my hand. The thing is, there's two missing. I can't find them, but this room is still a mess. They're probably in this room somewhere, to be honest. I will find them, but I know that I have all of them. So what I plan to do, there are 102 books here. So I plan to tell you the year that it won, the title, the author, and then whether or not I've read it. I'm not at this point going to share with you what I thought about any of these books. That will come later on when I get closer to finishing this goal of reading them all, or when I'm all completely done with it. But let's just jump right in because there are a ton of books to share with you. Here we go. The first one is a bit of a chunker. The Story of Mankind from 1922. This is by Hendrik Willem van Loon, and I have not read that one. 1923 was The Voyages of Dr. Dolittle by Hugh Lofting. 1924 is this so appealing, The Dark Frigate by Charles Hawes. Doesn't appeal to me at all, and I have not yet read it, but I will. Tales from the Silverlands by Charles J. Finger is from 1925. Have not yet read that one. Shen of the Seas, 1926. This is by Arthur Bowie Chrisman, and this is also short stories, just like the last one. Not read that one. Smokey the Cowhorse by Will James, written and illustrated by Will James. Have not yet read that one. Gaynek, The Story of a Pigeon by Don Gopal Mukherjee. Have not yet read that one either. The Trumpeter of Krakow by Eric P. Kelly. This is also unread, and this one is from 1929. 1930 was Hitty, Her First 100 Years by Rachel Field. And then for 1931, the first one that I've read, The Cat Who Went to Heaven by Elizabeth Coatsworth. And 1932 was Waterless Mountain by Laura Adams Armour. 1933 was Young Fu of the Upper Yangtze by Elizabeth Foreman Lewis, with new illustrations by William Lowe, the edition that I have. Invincible Louisa is by Cornelia Miggs, and this is from 1934. 1935 was Daubry by Monica Shannon. 1936 is one of the ones that's missing, Caddy Woodlawn by Carol Ryrie Brink. I know I have it. I just don't know where it is right now. 1937 is Roller Skates by Ruth Sawyer. I keep looking to the side because I have a spreadsheet for the Newberys, and I am using that to help me with the year and all the information so I don't have to look inside each one. 1938 is another one that I actually have read. This is the second one I've read, The White Stag by Kate Sarity. 1939 is Thimble Summer by Elizabeth Enright. 1940 is A Book with a Story. Daniel Boone by James Doherty. This one comes with a story because this is the last one that was added to my shelf. This is the last one to find, and it is out of print. And it's very hard to come by, and the ones online are often quite expensive. I did find a few that were like $24, $25, and I would have spent that. But in the fall, when Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand and I got together to exchange our Christmas book exchange boxes and have lunch, we met halfway between DC and Richmond. Of course, we went exploring in some bookstores, and we were in this used bookstore. I didn't have any books. Sarah did. She's like, why don't you have any books yet? I'm like, I don't really have anything I need. I just had filmed a huge book haul. Like, the only thing I might consider buying is if I found Daniel Boone. It's the last Newbery that I need. And she turned around and on the shelf immediately, not even 2 minutes later, found it. And it was only $5. I can't believe it. So that's the last one. So exciting. This is 1940. Yay. I'm so glad to have that. 1941 is Call It Courage by Armstrong Sperry, excuse me. 1942 is one that I have read, The Matchlock Gun. I don't love this edition, but I wish there was something to make it more exciting on the cover, but that's okay. I also didn't care for this. It's by Walter D. Edmonds. The winner in 1943 is Adam of the Road by Elizabeth Janet Gray. 1944, I read Johnny Tremaine last year by Esther Forbes. Read that one, Revolutionary War story. I also have read 1945's winner, Rabbit Hill by Robert Lawson. And I also have read 1946 Strawberry Girl by Lois Lenski. I really like the cute drawing illustrations that are in here. Strawberry Girl, super cute. 1947 is Miss Hickory by Carolyn Sherwin Bailey. 1948 is another one that I've read, The 21 Balloons by William Penne Dubois. I just read this one recently for my Newbery weekend this year for middle grade March, The King of the Wind by Marguerite Henry. This was the winner in 1949. In 1950, I also read this one this year, The Door in the Wall by Marguerite de Angeli. This is Amos Fortune Free Man. This was the winner in 1951. In 1952, we have Ginger Pie by Eleanor Estes. 1953 was Secret of the Andes by Anne Nolan Clark. And Now Miguel by Joseph Krumgold was the winner in 1954. 1955 was The Wheel on the School by Minder de Jong. And I like this copy. 1956 is Carry On, Mr. Bowditch by Jean Lee Latham. Another one that I've read is the 1957 winner, Miracles on Maple Hill by Virginia Sorensen. Very good wintry read. In 1958, Rifles for Waddy by Harold Keith won the Newbery. I read the 1959 winner, The Witch of Blackbird Pond by Karen Cushman. 1960, the winner was Onion John by Joseph Krumgold. Again, we just heard his name a minute ago. In 1961, I have read The Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell. The Bronze Bow by Elizabeth George Spear was the winner in 1962. 1963, Madeleine L'Engle's A Wrinkle in Time won the Newbery. And in 1964, It's Like This Cat won by Emily Neville. In 1965, the winner was Shadow of a Bull by Maya Wojciechowska. 1966's winner was I Juan de Pareja by Elizabeth Borton de Trevino. 1967 was Up a Road Slowly by Irene Hunt. Haven't read any of those. But I have read 1968's book From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler by E.L. Konigsberg. I've read the first book in this series. This is 1969's winner, The High King, which is the fifth book in the Chronicles of Prydain by Lloyd Alexander. I did read the first one because I'm not jumping right into book 5. I need to start with the first book. In 1970, the Newbery winner was Sounder by William H. Armstrong. 1971 was The Summer of the Swans by Betsy Byers. I have read this one, Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim by Robert C. O'Brien. And I've also read Julie of the Wolves by Jean Craighead George, which won in 1973. 1974's winner was The Slave Dancer by Paula Fox. In 1975 was M.C. Higgins the Great by Virginia Hamilton. I've not yet read that one. The year I was born, the Newbery winner was The Grey King by Susan Cooper, excuse me. And I do believe this is not the first in a series, or this is the first in a series and there are others. I have to look into that one, but I've not yet read that one. 1977, though, I have read and loved Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry by Mildred D. Taylor. Loved this book. It can be read as a standalone, but I do believe there are 6 books maybe in the Logan family saga by Mildred D. Taylor. I'm absolutely interested in reading all of them. 1978, I have read multiple times The Bridge to Terabithia by Catherine Patterson. So heartbreaking in this little tiny book. And beautiful. I was surprised that this one came out in the 70s. This is 1979's winner, The Mystery, The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. Gathering of Days by Joan W. Bloss is the winner from 1980. 1981 was Jacob Have I Loved, also by Catherine Patterson. This year, I read A Visit to William Blake's Inn, Poems for Innocent and Experienced Travelers by Nancy Willard. This was the winner in 1982. In 1983, we have Dicey's Song by Cynthia Voigt. This is another one that I believe is not the first in a series. I think Homecoming is the first one. Haven't read that one. I think this Dicey's Song might be the second or third book. And then in 1984, I did read Dear Mr. Henshaw by Beverly Cleary. Beverly Cleary was huge when I was a kid. I read a lot of books by her, including this one. 1985's winner is The Hero and the Crown, and this is another one that I know I own somewhere. I just don't know where it is. I don't know if I pulled it to possibly read during middle grade March or what, but I don't know where it is. But I do own it. The Hero and the Crown, 1985. That's by Robin McKinley. 1986 winner was Sarah Plain and Tall by Patricia McCallahan. 1987 is The Whipping Boy by Sid Fleischman. I have read this one. I think I've also read Sarah Plain and Tall. I've read both of those. I have not yet read 1988's winner, Lincoln, a photobiography. This is pretty cool. It's a little bit different from other ones. It's literally a biography of Abraham Lincoln, but there are a ton of pictures of his life and people that were important at the time and like towns. I just think that this is going to be a cool biography nonfiction to read at some point. And then 1989's winner was another book of poetry, Joyful Noise, Poems for Two Voices by Paul Fleischman. Here we go. 1990 was Number the Stars by Lois Lowry. So good. Definitely read it. Maniac Mickey by Jerry Spinelli won in 1991. I've read that. Shiloh is the 1992 winner, and this is by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. Missing May by Cynthia Ryland I have not read, and this is from 1993. It's a little tiny one. I'm not sure why I haven't read that yet. Ugh. One of my favorites, The Giver by Lois Lowry. I had to read this for a children's lit class when I was in college, and I've read it multiple times since then. So good, and that's the beginning of a quartet as well. Another fabulous book, Walk Two Moons by Sharon Creech. Absolutely love this one. This is the winner in 1995. In 1996, we have The Midwife's Apprentice by Karen Cushman. I've read this one. I just read this one last weekend as well. The View from Saturday by E.L. Konigsberg. A Book in Verse, Out of the Dust by Karen Hesse is the winner from 1998. Holes, with a fabulous adaptation by Louis Sakar, won in 1999. Bud Not Buddy by Christopher Paul Curtis. This is an author I would really want to read more from. That was from 2000. 2001, the winner was A Year Down Yonder by Richard Peck. I read this one a couple years ago. In 2002, the winner was A Single Shard by Linda Sue Park. Absolutely want to read more from her as well because I loved that one. Just a couple days ago, I read Crispin, The Cross of Lead by Avi. Avi is a very prolific middle grade author, so I'm glad that he has a Newbery under his belt because this was a really fabulous read. Medieval story. From 2004, the winner was The Tale of Despero by Kate DiCamillo. And then in 2005, we have Kira Kira by Cynthia Kadohata. In 2006, we have Criss Cross by Lynn Ray Perkins. I've not yet read this one. In 2007, the winner was The Higher Power of Lucky by Susan Patron, and I did read this one. In 2008, the winner was Good Masters, Sweet Ladies, Voices from a Medieval Village by Laura Amy Schlitz, and I think those illustrations are going to be fabulous. I have not yet read this one. In 2009, the winner was The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I've read it and loved it, and I read it on the recommendation from Jenna, one of my Middle Grade March co-hosts. It's a fabulous read, one of her favorites. I've read the 2010 winner, When You Reach Me by Rebecca Stead. Had a fun twist in there that I didn't know about. 2009 winner was Moon Over Manifest, and I really enjoyed this one. Claire Vanderpool. Dead End in Norvelt was the winner in 2012, and I have not yet read this one by Jack Gantos. This is one of my Christmas book exchange books. In 2013, the winner was The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate, and I loved this. Then one of my least favorite reads from this list so far was Flora and Ulysses by Kate DiCamillo. It is my least favorite Kate DiCamillo book. I don't know how it won a Newbery. That's a conversation for another day. Just this year, I read the 2015 winner, The Crossover by Kwame Alexander. In 2016, we have one of the few picture books. I think some of those poetry books could be considered picture books as well, but this is very clearly younger than middle grade, but it won the Newbery Award in 2016. Last Stop on Market Street by Matt De La Pena, and pictures by Christian Robinson. In 2017, we have a book that's very close to my heart because it was our first group read for Middle Grade March that first year, and it's The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. Loved it. In 2018, the winner was Hello Universe by Erin and Trotta Kelly. Not one of my faves, but I did read it. 2019's winner was Mercy Suarez Changes Gears. I just read this last year and I really enjoyed it. This is by Meg Medina. a graphic novel. The first graphic novel on the list is New Kid by Jerry Craft, and it's fabulous. This one in 2020. In 2021, we have When You Trap a Tiger by Tate Keller. Last year's winner, 2022, was The Last Cuentista by Donna Barba Higuera. Also read this and loved it. And then just today, I finished reading 2023's winner, which is Free Water by Amina Lukman Dawson. So as of right now, today, I have read 54 out of 102 books, which is almost 53%. I'm really pleased with that. I am higher with my Newbery percentage than my NetGalley percentage. So here are all the books back on the shelf. These are in order from oldest to newest, and someone had given me the idea of putting the ones that I've read backwards so I can see the ones that I still need to read, and I love that idea. So I went with it, and we'll see how long it stays this way. I might need to see all the spines, but for now, I'm going to keep them turned in if I've read it already and turned out if I haven't, so I know which ones to pick from. I mean, I know which ones to pick from anyways, but we'll see how this goes for now. And that's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for watching this little bit of a different version of a shelf spotlight. It's not though. It's highlighting a certain type of books on my shelves, and all of these are Newbery winners. I know that I didn't have time to really go through what the descriptions of any of these are. It's just strictly showing what all the Newbery winners are all in one place. I know a couple of you have started collecting them as well, or have the same project in mind to read all of them, whether you get them from the library or whatnot. But I'm really excited about this project. I love how it's turning out so far, and I would love to chat with you about it down in the description below. In the future, when I have more completed, or when I finish this project down the road, hopefully I will come back on and do a little more deep dive as to some of my favorites, some of my least favorites. Maybe I'll do some kind of a ranking, maybe not with all of them. I don't know, we'll see. But I will be talking more about the Newbery as time goes on. And I do have a goal this year in 2023 of reading 12 Newbery books. I have read 7 so far this year. So I do have 5 more that will pop up in my reading at some point before the end of the year. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I look forward to talking with you in another video very soon. Bye.